and I was smoking pot every night. I was going through like an 8-ball of cocaine every weekend, if not more. There was even a point where I was selling cocaine for about 2 months in my parents' house, which I regret obviously a lot. And during that time as well, I was battling. When I was at the age of 15, I thought there was something wrong with me. I felt really depressed, self-harm. Doctor said it was just my testosterone levels. As I progressed through those older years, I was coping. I figured out I was coping through these vices of drugs and alcohol. And then it wasn't until, only like maybe 12 months, or more than 12 months ago now, I tried taking my own life.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Stillness podcast. Our goal with this podcast and the Pottery studio is to introduce you to ways that you can find stillness in your life. Our guest today is going to take us through his journey through drugs and alcohol, partying, and how he almost took his life a few times. Breathwork and meditation saved his life, and he's going to share how. I think this story will inspire many of you, and I'd like to welcome Josh Sherwell. Welcome.
Thanks, brother. It's good to see you.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
I think last year was probably one of the... I was thinking maybe it was the last time we caught up, but it was a podcast that never aired because we forgot to press play.
We thought we were recording, but we're just having a hell conversation for an hour. No, we bumped into each other at Sunday Stillness with Cool to Be Conscious that time. But we haven't actually had a sit down chat in a while now.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see you glowing.
Thanks, man. Under this beard. I'm trying to just catch up to you, that's all.
Hey, I want to start probably maybe 2010 Fridays, uni night, your sort of lifestyle back then, go through the next 10 years and then how you came out the other end.
Cool. So I'll try and make this as quick as possible. Back then in 2010, I was pursuing a professional surfing career. I was on the pro junior circuit, just finished high school. For those that don't know, on the Sunshine Coast, my dad is quite well known because he was a professional surfer in his time. So obviously we got a lot of, rode off his coattails in a sense of local fame as such. Anyway, I was very ego-driven back then. And that caused me to just ride this wave of, arrogance to a degree. And so during that time, I'd go out partying Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, even sometimes Sunday night, write myself off, work paycheck to paycheck, while still competing, trying to make a career out of it. But it just shows that my head and heart wasn't actually in the chase for a world title or anything. I was literally just living the rock star life.
Yeah.
As life progressed, I got to travel the world with my surfing, but then also doing tour guiding with Dane Dunn on Entourage Tours, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah, cool.
But over the time, once I the surfing fizzled off, started to get more into drugs, more into alcohol, to the point within 2018, 19, I was working in real estate. I was 3-4 years into my career there, and I was smoking pot every night. I was going through like an 8-ball of cocaine every weekend, if not more. There was even a point where I was selling cocaine for about 2 months in my parents' house, which I regret obviously a lot. And during that time as well, I was battling. When I was at the age of 15, I thought there was something wrong with me. I felt really depressed, self-harm. Doctor said it was just my testosterone levels. As I progressed through those older years, I was coping. I figured out I was coping through these vices of drugs and alcohol. And then it wasn't until, only like maybe 12 months, or more than 12 months ago now, I tried taking my own life one more time. I'd been overseas trying to run away from all my issues, soul searching as such. And then this pandemic brought me home, and then I just had a gut full of it, felt like I was worthless, got told had nothing to offer anyone in this life. And so I thought I was going to, just end it. And then I was very fortunate. I'm a very spiritual person. I believe in, guides. I believe in divine power. And I felt like there was this overwhelming voice that just hit me when I was trying to go through this method, which I won't go into. And it said, "You've got so much to give still. What are you doing?" And so I stopped. And then from that point on, I started trying to figure out what makes me happy, what resonates with me, what actually makes me feel joy, excitement, gratitude, all these emotions that for years I really didn't know because it was all fabricated through synthetic drugs and alcohol.
So you were a spiritual person back then as well?
Yeah.
Religious?
So, yeah, here we go. Okay, I love this. Brought up in a Christian family.
Yep.
Do I denounce my faith? Not by any means at all. I'm very appreciative of the lessons that I learnt and the morals that I learnt through my upbringing. If I were to say, do I believe in a religion now? My religion would be love. I just love love, and I love to teach love and share love with whoever I meet and whoever I do dialogue with and converse with. But I'd experienced heaps of things with, like, people want to say ghosts or spirits when I was younger. And as you do going through like younger adult years, people would always be like, no, you're just seeing things. They're not real. They're not real. But the more that I've aged and the more that I've, been on this bit of a journey, the more I realise that, I do feel like there's a connection there with ancestors and stuff like that. So, yeah, I wouldn't say I'm religious. I'd say that I'm spiritual and that I believe in that there's more to this life than just the 3D.
Yeah, awesome.
And that, like for myself also being of Maori heritage, like my ancestral bloodlines are really important to me, and I feel like a lot of my messages come from ancestors, which is really fun and cool.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, mum's Maori.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so it's really cool, and it's a side of my life and my heritage that I've never really spoken too much about because Mum moved over here when she was so young. When she was like 14, I think she came over to Australia with her family.
Have you learnt more about it?
I'm starting to, yeah. So it's speaking on like the spirituality side of things. Like I'm really into my breath work, as we said. Breath work saved my life, especially connected conscious breathing. So it's like a breath rebirthing as such. I did one of those with Nicole Kagakis, and ever since I did that, it changed my life. Yeah, big time. That's what really got me on this path of like learning how to sit in stillness, be calm, not taking on everything as if it's personal, learning how to regulate my stresses and emotions better, being able to say no to drugs. But long story short, where I'm going with this was, the other day I did a breath rebirthing with her, and I was greeted by two of my Maori ancestors, which was really cool. One had a tāmuku on his chin, the other one had one on his chest down to his arm, and they stood behind this warrior. And I didn't know who the warrior was, but it was like a message that was drilled into my head saying that it's my time to be initiated. And so now I'm starting to talk to my pop from mum's side, who I've only met 5 times in my life. Starting to connect with him, connect with my uncles. And
they're over there?
My uncles are in Sydney, and then my grandfather's still out on our tribal land in Gisborne.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
You can go there soon, or who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, cool.
I'm not holding my breath. But it's hard because like I do want to spend more time over there, and I want to like delve into that side of things. I want to be on the land and feel the land, but
he's probably getting old as well.
Yeah, he's got cancer, unfortunately. So I mean, it's a blessing, and just like it's a blessing at the same time, like for me to feel this calling to learn more about my heritage, because it gives me a chance to connect with him on a deeper level, and I know that it excites him because my uncles are excited as well for me to go on this journey too. So it's cool.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
So you almost took your life.
Yeah.
And then what happened? So how do you go from that to where you are today?
Yeah, so it was quite selfish of me. It was 2 days before my mum's birthday last year, and I had that.
I didn't realise it was that close.
Yeah, man, it's hectic.
So it was just
not long
really before the podcast.
Yeah, probably a couple months before the podcast.
Early.
And so for me, it just like it got to the point where, like, I guess you hear people go through their stories and like I hit rock bottom. I guess that to me was rock bottom. I was living at my parents' house again, 27. I was working a job that I hated, heartbroken, going through a bad breakup. But then it got to the point where I was just sick of sitting in that victim archetype, and I was like, fuck this. Like, you look outside, excuse my language as well, probably should have done that, so excuse the language. It just got to the point where like I looked outside and I saw how much beauty there was in this world, and I went, there's obviously got to be something here for me. But then I just started to realize, like, started to remove the drugs, changed my diet. Like, the diet was huge, and I think that was the one thing that kick-started me on this journey was I just went, well, I'm not eating well. I was addicted to fast food, drinking too much alcohol, like I said, and not really being aware of what I was putting into my body by any means. And so I changed my diet, started to feel good. I'd already knew about breath work. I'd been introduced to breath work through the Wim Hof method through Jordan Potts years prior, but I'd never actually routinely practiced it. Mm-hmm. And then it wasn't until this all happened that I went, I need to reconnect with Jordan, because like him and I had a really strong connection when we first met. So during that time, prolonged going back to work, got kicked out of home because I had an argument with my dad, which was funny. We're all good now. I love my dad, but we just had a bit of an argument about social media and stuff, and he just told me to get out and never come back, and I haven't been back there to live since, and it's probably been the best thing for me. But I was just at rock bottom, and I was like, fuck, I need to sort my life out. And so I just started peeling back the layers of things that I was just doing because it was classified as the right thing to do or the normal thing to do in society, and start going, what actually makes me feel good? And so for one of them was, breath work. I loved the feeling of breath work because it did draw me back to that spirituality side of my life that I had neglected for so long.
I'd like to go back to the diet. Not sure how I'm articulating it, but with you're drinking alcohol, you're eating shit food, your gut health's going to be pretty shot. So it's just, and then it starts to crave those same things again.
Yep,
absolutely. Then you're in that cycle.
Vicious cycle.
So breaking that was important.
Hugely important.
To actually stop drinking as well, because kind of one led to the other, but by cutting ties with the fast food almost probably helped the alcohol, or maybe was it the other way around?
No, I was still drinking a fair bit. It was mainly the diet. So when I went to Canada with my bro, he was vegetarian because the meat produce over there is terrible. Mm-hmm. So I went veggie for about a month over there with him. And then when we came back to Australia, started to implement fish, went pescatarian, did that for a few months, but noticed that like my body I was dropping a lot of weight, but I wasn't feeling strong. I was feeling quite lethargic. I was still having like a lot of emotional swings, not knowing how to deal with emotions when they came up. The alcohol, when I quit that out of a place of pain. It wasn't really like a for me thing as well. Like it was for me, but it was also because I was trying to prove to someone at the time that I could get my act together.
Yeah, cool.
And
sometimes it's good.
Well, yeah, like we all need motivation, right? And at that point, I really didn't have much. That's hence why I tried taking my own life. I had no motivation. There was no real goal. There was no real structure to my life or any ambition. So,
you were also, I mean, I hope you don't mind saying, but you were a fair bit heavier, hey?
Like I was huge. I was 110 kilo. I was big.
You lost a lot of weight, or you toned up.
Yeah, so I'm back down to like 85 now. Right. I've fluctuated just over the 90 mark, but yeah, I was big. And yeah, so with the diet thing, as I started implementing foods again and reconnected with Jordan and started training out of Exalto, I started to see a shift in as soon as I started to get my gut health right, my mental health started to improve. It's just a sure thing that's going to happen. And as I progressed through that, and I started doing more breath work and started involving myself with that community more and getting involved with like learning what health actually is. You know, it's not just pushing pills down your throat. It's like going out and getting sunlight, going and immersing yourself in nature. It's, connecting to yourself and figuring out what it is you do like in this lifetime. I feel like that is true health, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's in control of your meat sack and what you're walking around in, and you're the only one that's really going to know what you truly desire and want out of life. And I never really asked myself that. And so, yeah, with the diet, I ended up, Jordan and Nicola from Exalto just said, like, you should do the parasite and gut cleanse through corrective culture. And I had no idea what that was, never done a cleanse before in my life. And I went, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. What is it? And it's like, it's all organic produce, no alcohol, no coffee for a month. There's some supplements, all organic supplements that you take. And I just went, you know what, I'm just going to give myself a month, see how I go. And at that point, I think I was sitting around 93 kilo. And then during the course of that month, I dropped 10 kilos. I dropped down to 82.5 kilos. And I felt so good. And then since that point, like since I did that cleanse, it's sort of, I haven't turned back. I haven't stopped eating organic food. I still go out and enjoy a meal out at like a restaurant or something like that, or if I'm away. But for the most part, I try to make sure I know where I'm sourcing my food from, who the farmer was, making sure that the animals were, taken care of as much as possible up until slaughter, all that sort of stuff. Because to me, I realize over this time, it's not just food, like you're consuming energetics. So, if the animal's been put under stress when it goes to the slaughterhouse, like you're going to be ingesting that energetic too, which is causes inflammation. It brings on, in my opinion, what brings on mental health problems, because you're ingesting stress. So then what's that going to do? It needs to move, so it just gets absorbed into your body.
Always believe that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy.
We're all energy. Everything's energy, right?
Yeah. The cleanse definitely helps you realize what is kind of making it like lethargic or inflammation, because it just cuts everything out.
I'm doing it at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm
Is that why you're glowing?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a week and a half into it now, and my partner outside Alicia, God bless her, we went camping on the weekend, had our first little argument because I realised like how I was getting snappy because I couldn't eat certain foods, and like we'd want to go out and have coffee, or we'd want to go out and have brekkie, and I'm like, I can't eat anything. I can't do anything here because none of it's organic. But like my body feels the best it's ever felt. Like this time out of the 3 times I've done the cleanse, I probably feel the absolute best that I've ever felt.
Is the Gentleman's Club doing the cleanse right now?
So
Callan was I think he was on last week, and he said he's doing it.
Yeah, so they start, I think, this week. So yeah, I run. So yeah, at the moment I guess segue into that.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I quit real estate 3 months ago, and I've started a men's health and wellness program alongside a friend, Mitch Adams, and Jordan Potts helps out a fair bit because he gives us the space at Exalto. And basically Mitch and I have just come together and from different backgrounds, but just, we wanted to create a space for men that was safe to come in, train, explore their own, themselves, and figure out what they want to do with their lives. And yeah, so we've got all 10 blokes doing the cleanse at the moment. A lot of them have never done anything like this before. Obviously it was voluntary if they wanted to do it or not, but all of them just wanted to commit 100% to the program.
Sick.
But yeah, we've had like one guy come out saying it's the happiest he's felt in years.
Awesome.
And a lot of the other guys are glowing. I saw another guy at the gym yesterday. We trained together, and he's got like cracking jawline now. I haven't seen him in like 2 weeks. It's like, dude, 2 weeks on the cleanse, you've got a full jawline. He's like, I feel incredible and I'm sleeping great. So
sick.
I know a lot of I know some health professionals, like dietitians and stuff, don't necessarily agree with the cleanse because the Czech Institute is, I guess,
a bit alternate.
Yeah, it's alternate. But to me, I can't see a problem in eating organic food.
No,
I can't see a problem there at all.
I haven't really, I've introduced a few more things back in since, but it's definitely helped just cutting out, gluten especially, a lot of any refined sugars, carbohydrates.
Absolutely. Gluten's huge. Gluten has been so weaponized over the years, and I don't think that's something that gets spoken about enough. It's because it's so mass produced, it's been weaponized to the fact that we can't break it down.
Literally. I kept getting sick and I didn't know why, and the cleanse actually helped me figure out. I kept getting this thing on my tongue, and it was gluten. Ever since when I cut gluten out, it would go away.
Yeah.
Health would get better. Start eating again.
Yeah.
I think it stops you absorbing nutrients as well, because it's like scratching at you.
Yeah.
I think something like that.
That's there'd probably be some form of truth behind that.
So I wasn't absorbing any nutrients when I'm eating it. It's probably also just.
And a lot of the food nowadays, in the shops, aren't that nutrient dense because they've been sprayed with so many pesticides and all this other bullshit, or they've been pre-packaged and just drained of all the nutrients. Where it's if you can just take it back to even just whole foods, and that's how I really tried to start this whole thing, was eating whole foods, not packaged foods. It just changes everything. But yeah, sugar and gluten were huge. And the moment you get rid of sugar, that's where all your fat down here is just stress and sugar and alcohol. So you remove those 3 things from your life, and you just notice your body just starts to strip down that inflammation. It's crazy. Yeah.
We've started growing food again at home with what we can, and got the chickens again.
Epic.
What's interesting is people don't, I think, realize how much energy goes into organic food, especially even feeding chickens without grain. It's so hard.
Yeah, man.
Because you've got to grow, or you've got to give them enough nutrients, otherwise they're not going to give you good eggs.
No, that's right.
And then letting them free range, well, there's only so much free range you can give them.
Yeah,
because you look at speaking to Jai about it the other day, because he picked up some eggs, and I said, I don't think those ones are very good. I think they're grain fed and they're free range. Yeah, sure, they're organic as well, organic grain. But it was 1,500 hens per hectare, which is, I think it might be the maximum you're allowed to call free range, I think. But then then there's other ones which I get, and they're 300 hens per hectare, and then there's other ones which are 40 hens per hectare. And obviously, the more room, the more bugs, the more, biodiversity the chicken's going to eat up. So
yeah, correct.
You're going to ingest that too.
That's right. Well, it's like with the lamb that I get from the markets, carry, the farmer there, I'd speak to him. I say, how's your herd going? How's the flock? And he'll tell me about like how much energy and work goes into it, but he treats all those animals with so much love and respect. He's like, I looked at the weather map and I knew it was going to be too hot this week for them, so I moved them down onto the lower paddock where I knew it was going to be cooler. And he'd talk about like how he just maintains, this balance for them so they can just have like the most fulfilling, like enjoyable life while they can before it's time for them to then be produced into the meat. And so that's like for me right now, I'm on this journey where after we finish this podcast, I'm going to Broken Arrow around the corner because I want to start hunting for my own meat rather than buying it through farmers or just buying food. I'd rather be self-sufficient in that sense, give respect back to the animal for their sacrifice, because for me, it's like, it's good knowing where it comes from, who the butcher is, how they've maintained everything. But at the same time, like, I'm not there for the whole process. And for me, like, I love animals. And like, I know there'll probably be vegans going, yeah, but you eat them. It's like, yeah, I still love and respect them. I know that I can be my best self if I ingest that energy and embody that energy. So I want to take it to the next level by now going out and providing for myself and hunting it.
Do you want to talk about where you're going next week?
Yeah. So with the Gentlemen's Club, in the last month, the Gentlemen's Club were taking the boys out for like a rite of passage survival camp. And Adam Kavanagh, he's going to be running it. He was in the mines for years, got run down, body was shutting down, depressed, like a lot of men are. Like a lot of us men, we literally just work jobs for the sake of working jobs and we're fucking miserable. But he just decided one day, he's like, I've had a gutful of this. So he ended up going out with a local tribe, indigenous tribe up north. And he's now been living out there for the last 3 years off the land. Yep. And so he's doing our survival camp. And I messaged him a week and a half ago, seeing him just doing some videos on bush tucker. And I said, oh man, that looks amazing. Like, I'd love to experience something like that with you. And he goes, can you be here in 3 weeks? And I said, I'll book a flight today. So I called Alicia. I said, Alicia, this is what I'm doing. Are you supportive of it? You want me to stay? And she goes, no, go. So yeah, him and I are going to go. He's picking me up in Cairns. We're going to go just out traveling for a week. And then once we get out to the tribal lands, that's when I'll meet the tribe, the elders, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, basically he just said the most important thing you got to bring is your bow. So yeah, I got to go and get all myself measured up and ready to go and go out there hunting for 2 weeks.
Should be awesome.
I'm excited. So excited.
Can you document it?
Well, yeah, there's going to be not much reception out there, but Adam's pretty good at recording and filming a lot of it. So I'm going to document as much as I can, absolutely, because it's going to be an experience that, I'm going to remember forever.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. So where are you at the moment?
So at the moment,
what are you working on apart from the Gentlemen's Club?
So life is exciting at the moment. Like, it's so crazy having conversations like this, and especially talking about my past and where I was at, because where I am today is just like, it baffles me. And like, I guess I want to say this to anyone listening as well. You can change your life so easily. You really can. It's just we've been so conditioned to believe that it's a lot harder to achieve happiness, or we've been told like expectations are too high. Like when we want this, if we don't reach that, we're just going to suffer. It's like, remove that and just enjoy life as it is, as it rolls, and change what you can and don't forget what you can't, but realize that you can't change everything in your life.
Definitely.
So yeah, for me right now, life's incredible. I'm studying at the moment, got the Gentlemen's Club, so I'm studying in the Czech Institute. I've just done a course with Wim Hof. I am doing a Gen Freedom course with a wealth coach.
What's that one, sorry?
It's called Gen Freedom. So it's a wealth coach. So they teach you how to like change your paradigms and your beliefs about money.
Yeah, cool.
Because I went from earning like 120 grand a year to having nothing to show for it, because I'd gamble it all. I'd put it up my nose and I'd drink it all. Like that was the one thing as well that I came to a realization when I kept doing my tax returns, and I'm like, where's all this money? And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. You're a drug addict. Like, far out. So, I did a 6-week course with this mentor last year, and it was just all on YouTube that he gave these videos, and he had some questions at the end for us, and we'd converse with him over Zoom. But ever since I did that course with him too, like my savings and my investments have just changed. My whole outlook on money's changed. And for all my friends that know me, like I've never been money hungry. I'm like, I love to be generous. I love to share with other people and make other people have the same experience I'm going through. So yeah, doing that. And then
what's something you've taken away from this course?
This course?
Share with everyone.
One thing I've taken away from the Gen Freedom course.
Yep.
is that when you work out what your hourly rate is, since you've finished high school, it's a rude shock that you got to start being more diligent with your money.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I think last year when I did the course, my hourly rate since I finished high school was like $1.30, and now it's up to $2.
As in,
So there's a formula.
yeah,
So
because of time you sleep and everything, or what?
No, so it's like you work out how much money you've got in regards to assets, savings,
Oh, okay.
and all that sort of stuff. Then you divide that by, I think, how many years you've been out of school. Then you divide that by how many weeks. Divide that by 52 weeks of a year. Then you divide that by 5 days a week, and then it comes to like, I can't remember the exact formula because I did it last year. But yeah, once I did that and like I realized, I was like, man, I've got like nothing going for me. And he makes you like write down these goals, like what you want to have, like how much money would be a cool figure to have. I think I just wrote down $1 million. And I was like, it was going to take me 332 years to get there. And I was like, oh, hell no. I'm not doing that. So it made you realize like you've got to start changing little things within your life to do it. So for me, like stopping drinking so much alcohol saved me heaps of money. Stopping doing cocaine, heaps of money saved, and I was able to then invest that into cryptocurrency shares. And
how do people afford cocaine?
I still have no idea.
You did it, so tell us. It's just priorities.
Yeah, literally for me, like that. I think that's how I afforded it. Was my priority?
It was the priority.
Was numbing myself out and removing myself from that dense emotion by ways of drinking and doing drugs, and then everything else went on the back burner. Like I remember there was one point where I'd gambled, snorted and drank all my money. Then I had rent due the next day, and I had to call my partner at the time and be like, hey, can I borrow money? And she asked why, and I said, oh, Reggio's due, and I had no idea. I had to lie to her. And so I just need money. I didn't have the guts to take ownership of my actions and say I'm struggling and I need money to pay for my rent because I'm struggling. Like to her credit, she helped me seek professional help and put me on a bit of a journey to like start deconditioning a lot of the stuff. But yeah, it's pretty hectic.
What
I don't know how people to answer your question, how do people afford it? I think it's a priority thing, and maybe sometimes it's an excess of too much money.
Coming out of the highs of, I mean, I'm sure it's not just cocaine, but all drugs, and now your high is breath work.
Absolutely.
What's how's it compare? Like,
oh, all right. I had this conversation with a friend of mine the other day who's like wanting to know more. The difference between your recreational drugs and your breath work, there's so many to name, but the most simple ones is with your breath work, it's for free. All right? It's free. You say, like for me, it was like, oh, this is a free high I can get. That was my first mentality of it. And then it was, there's no come down. So like you're doing these like incredible breath techniques that will send you to another dimension. Like you have this full hallucination sometimes. And then you come out of it and you just, if anything, there's no come down. It makes you feel higher again. It's like
euphoric.
Yeah, man. And so that's why like you hear people say like you're raising your consciousness. I believe that breath work is such a sure, fast way to raise your consciousness because you're really just connecting to self. Another way that it compares is like it's not illegal. Like you're not gonna get locked up for it. You can get drug tested, breath work. You're not going to be like, oh, mate, you've been participating too much Wim Hof, like you're going to have to take you fine, take you to jail.
Probably will soon.
Oh, yeah, probably. Jesus.
Make sure you wear your mask, breath.
Yeah. Oh, God. But yeah, I think like a lot of people think breath work is very woo-woo. But I think why that may be the case, and I've experienced it myself, is because when you do surrender to the breath and go deeper in it, it can move a lot of dense emotions. I've learned a lot about myself since really delving into breath work. So yeah, it's been wild.
Do you ever get like intuition or like intuitive kind of messages come up when you're during breath work? Like does anything...
I get messages all the time.
Yeah, messages all the time. Yeah.
I get messages all the time through my breath work. And
how do you react? Like I do as well, but how do you respond to them? Like if you've just done like 15 minutes and then there's a really clear message,
I'll write it down.
You write it down.
If it's a message like that, like if it's something profound, I'll write it down. So, for example, with my experience the other day where I had my ancestors visually in my dream, and it was like they put a thought pattern in my head. Maori heritage, they talk about the tamuku, which is like your genealogy or your ancestry lineage as a tattoo form. And it's a initiation into manhood, into the family. You're healing your bloodline's traumas. You're healing your bloodline's karma. And they said to me, it's time for you to step into this. And I love my Maori heritage, but at the end of the day, I wasn't born in New Zealand. So for me, it was quite confronting because I'll be getting tribal tattoos on me. So one message, the message I had the other night or the other day where my ancestors came to me, they sent a message to me. And when I say a message, it's not like they're verbally standing in front of me like what we are now and you can see lips moving. It's more of like a telekinetic sort of connection. Like it's almost like a download straight into your brain. Well, that's how I experience it. And they basically just said to me that it's now time for me to step into manhood and to be initiated. And I didn't know really what that meant all too much. I know that for Maoris in particular, it is to get to Tamuku, which is the tribal tattoo. And so from that point, like being an Australian Kiwi, I was like very hesitant. Like I am still, well, not right now. When I got the message, I was very hesitant. I've always wanted to get one, but I always thought like, there's always those guys, like white guys with tribal tattoos. You're like, man, why have you got a tribal tattoo? Like, that's gross. I hate all that sort of shaming and judgment. If someone wants to get a tribal tattoo, go get a tribal tattoo. I'm all about people just having the freedom to choose how they want to live their life. But yeah, and so for me, it got to the point where like, it was so surreal, this message. I started looking into my heritage more. I called my uncle, called my pop, and said, this is my confliction. This is what I want to do. And they both turned around and said, it's your birthright. And I'm the only one out of my whole family from that lineage that's actually had this calling to do it. And so my pop and my uncle were very overwhelmed and very ecstatic to hear that I wanted to go ahead with it.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, like messages for me come in all different shapes and sizes, and I love it. And then Nicole Kagakis, when I do a rebirthing with her, she'll just have a message for you afterwards, and for the most part, they always resonate with exactly what you're going through without even mentioning to her what you're going through, which is really cool.
Who is she?
Nicole Kagakis.
Yeah.
So she's like my guru. She's my breath guru. Yeah, cool. She operates out of Coolum, and you can just book in with her one-on-one, or she does group sessions out at the Yurt in Yamundi.
Yeah, cool.
Her Instagram's Nick _ritual _movement. I'm pretty sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's
I might
awesome.
have to give it a go.
Yeah, man. Like I know Joel just did it, and Joel said like it was the most relaxed he's ever felt, and he came out and the message that she gave him was like perfect for what he was feeling, and Joel had never even met her before. So this is the thing. Like a lot of people think it's so woo-woo, and I'm more than welcome for them to have that opinion. But for me right now, where I'm at, life has never been so exciting, so fulfilling. And for someone that went from trying to take their own life, struggling with a drug addiction, to now running a men's health program, madly in love with a girl that I wrote down what I wanted from a partner, and then Alicia just popped into my life. It was fucking wild. And then, having these things come into my life, and traumas and old issues that I used to face coming to light, like bringing the shadow to light and doing shadow work. It's just like, I'm just so happy now, and nothing really bothers me. Yeah. Like, funny story, on the way here, I thought I got done by a speed camera. Like, I was driving and there was a cop on the other side of the road, and I think I was going like 58 in a 50 zone. And I went, oh shit. So I hit the brakes a little bit and slowed down. I was like, I think I just got done. And like old me, before I had done all this work, breath work and whatnot, learning how to regulate my stress, would have been anxiety through the roof. Like, oh my God, are they going to follow me? I just sort of laughed and went, you know what? If I get a speeding ticket, I get a speeding ticket. Who cares? Like, and I even said to Alicia, like, isn't it funny that 2 years ago I would have been so anxious about that? Yeah. So yeah, it's awesome. It's been cool, man. And then like even now, like, how you're talking about like what am I studying? Another thing right now that I'm trying to study, I'm not going to use the word try. One thing that I'm studying at the moment is Tantra, which is I'm learning about sexual healing and sexual energy, especially for myself. What does that look like? So I'm going to be so vulnerable here for everyone listening. If you're okay with it, I have no shame here with this, because I feel like it's courageous to speak about this sort of shit. I suffer from premature ejaculation, or I did suffer from premature ejaculation for years. It soiled so many of my relationships. It made it hard. I was publicly shamed by women for it. At a music festival, I remember clear as day, a woman coming up to me and, you slept with such and such, and she told me this, blah, blah, blah. Like, I've been through the ringer with it. But in this relationship with my partner now, I've come through this journey where I want to heal it. I don't want to have to deal with this condition anymore. I don't want to say issue, I'm going to say condition. And I've tried the whole serotonin rehabilitators to try take medication for it. Screwed with my hormones, screwed with my mental health. And then Alicia, just during our relationship, she's helped me find Tantra, which is this Taoist teaching of sex and the importance of sex and the sacredness, and how the energy doesn't have to always just flow to your penis. It can be something you can feel all through your body, like a euphoric feeling. And funnily enough, the more I'm learning about it, the more it makes me realize, I wonder how many other men go through this.
Yeah, definitely.
And it can be fixed just through breath work and being aware and being present.
Interesting.
And same with erectile dysfunction. There's so many sexual conditions that can be healed and deconditioned just through breath work and awareness.
So someone's going through this. What do
they do?
What's something they could do? Yeah.
What's something they can do? Just
because I'm sure this is
question.
probably. That would have taken a toll on your mental health. Some
Hugely.
Random chicks comes up to you and says
hugely. I was insecure as shit, and I'm a hairy person as well. I hit puberty at a young age, had a hairy chest from the age of 15. So I got shamed for so much stuff when I was growing up. But obviously, it's sad to think that that's normal for young teenagers to shame one another. I think it's hopefully that's on its way out in this next generation. But yeah, it got to the point where I was I know I wanted to make a change even before I met Alicia. And then she just sort of gave me the invitation and the space to actually go through it and have a partner there that was willing to support me through it. Was really awesome. But if any guys out there looking to go into that sort of field of healing, well, I guess it's with anything, even with a self journey, when you're doing your self-help journeys, you've got to first want it for yourself. You can't have someone else going, I think you should be doing this, because unless you have the conviction there yourself, it's just going to be there 1 week, gone the next. This is something that I've lived with my whole life since I lost my virginity. It's something I've struggled with. And so now it's gotten to the point where, I'm in love and I want to be able to satisfy my partner, and I want to know that I can hold my own in the bedroom. And I know I don't want to compare myself to my performance or my body, or I just want to be fully present and aware and embrace the love in that space. Yeah. And so if any guy that I guess is going through that or feels that they want to decondition anything like that, just start, jump on the internet, and just type in, how can I heal it? There's so many sex coaches through the world right now that are teaching men and women this and teaching couples this. I've got a Tantra coach on the coast that I'll be seeing her tomorrow actually. And she just runs me through aspecting and breath work, and she talks about I talk about past sexual traumas that I've dealt with and insecurities that I've dealt with through sex. And I think that's another thing as well, is talking about, men don't really talk about this shit. Women talk about everything. From what I've been told, women talk about everything regarding sex in the bedroom. Whereas for us men, it's it's so derogatory and gross and dense. Why can't there be just genuine conversation? Be I'm actually struggling with this. So yeah, I think having the conversation and starting the conversation is huge with other men, and doing it with your friends. I remember sharing this journey with my 3 of my closest mates when they came over to mine for dinner. And it was so rewarding and refreshing to me to have 3 of my best mates turn around and say to you, what you're doing is unreal. And,
right.
And I've only been on it for nearly 2 months now, and the change that I've noticed in regards to my connection with my partner and the confidence within my own body and being able to, reset my nervous system to feel safe in that space is phenomenal. And so I think that's why,
So what is it? What actually causes it? Do you know?
What causes it? So for the most part, most sexual, let's just say conditions are caused from past traumas. Okay,
past
so
lives.
Not necessarily past lives, but it could be a big factor. I'm talking about more so within your upbringing.
Yep.
For myself personally, I had a sexual encounter when I was 4 years old that I won't go into detail about. But that definitely caused a lot of trauma for me, especially being a young Christian boy, being told that sex is sacred, no sex before marriage. I've been conditioned to feel all this way about it. And then I had an incident happen. That started me on this scary cycle. And this has all been coming out since I've been doing this course, and draining a lot of toxic energy from my lymphatic system through massage therapy and breath work and stuff like that. But yeah, for the most part, a lot of it stems from previous traumas. And then if you have heaps of sexual partners and all of that experience is exactly the same. So for me, when I was single and I was, going out and partying and getting with chicks, I was just putting my nervous system through that same repetitive cycle every time where I just work myself up, feel like I've, I got taking a girl home or, I'm with a girl seeing him, I take him to the bedroom. But then my nervous system just straight away goes into fight or flight mode. And then I just crumble every time. So being able to learn how to regulate that and reset my nervous system around that has been huge. And yeah, like I said, like my relationship with Alicia is the best it's ever been since I've been on this journey, all thanks to her giving me the space and the support to go ahead with it, which is cool.
Unreal.
And so, yeah, I mean, like if anyone's listening to this now, because I've had a few guys reach out to me that I've spoken to about this. So if anyone listens to this and they want to know more, like please, like don't hesitate to reach out and ask any questions. I can point you in the direction of people you can talk to or things you can see, because I did the medication thing and it really just screwed with my head. Whereas with this one, I actually feel confidence. I feel empowered by it, which is cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Nice.
There's something I didn't ask before, but you kind of hinted it by writing down what you wanted in your partner.
Yeah.
So
huge.
Manifestation.
Yeah.
What do you believe?
What do I believe?
How do you do it?
I believe that we're all worthy of whatever we want in life. Every single living being is worthy of abundance and is worthy of having the life that they truly desire. For me, I was like trying to get my ex back. She ended up getting with the guy, started dating, and I was like gone. I was broken. I was like, what do I do? And then I went camping by myself one time, and I take my notepad every time. Just went up Double Island by myself, and I just started to write down what I wanted from a partner, Not just the physical, like remove the physical. Start writing down like what you want in here, like what you want internally, like how you want them to support you, how you want them to make you feel, how you want to make them feel. And I started just writing these things down on a list, and then Alicia walked into my life, and then next thing you know, it was like as soon as we met, it was just like boom. It was just on.
How long?
As in...
How long did it take from the time you wrote it down?
So, from the time I wrote it down, a month.
A month, yeah.
A month from when I wrote it down, which was wild because, to be honest, I was at that point in my life where I was like just so happy being by myself. I was like, I'm so good on my own. I'm finally happy on like being by myself and doing my own thing. And funnily enough, she was at that same point too, where she's like, I'm so happy by myself. And then I walk in. But yeah, just getting clear. I think manifestation gets a negative connotation because people always be like, again, it's woo-woo. But like, I don't think it's woo-woo. Like, there's so much power in putting pen to paper. And like, you've got the journal here. And like, I'm a massive believer that journaling is so important, especially for men. Like, we don't journal all that often. And there's so much power in writing down how you feel. Like at the Gentlemen's Club, I created a journal for the boys. And one of the questions is, what emotions did you feel today? And what I say to the boys is, don't just write down the first thing that comes to your head. I actually want you to sit there and think about the moment that you woke up to the moment that you're sitting at that very present moment, and think about whatever emotion you can name that you felt during that day, write it. Like, I'd look at mine some days and it'd be like anxious, unrested, tired, excited, grateful, joy. It'd just be a mixed bag of different emotions. It just goes to show that we just go through waves. Like, there's no real like, you're not just happy the whole time. Yeah, you're not just like, I'm always happy. It's like, well, you may be, but they may just be in different facets. So it may just be like they're experiencing joy, excitement, gratitude, like I was saying, higher vibration, but in different emotions.
Yeah.
But I think it's really, really powerful in writing everything down. And like, if you've had a shit day, write it down, get clear, because then that's like a release of that energy. I had a shit day. It was a shocking day. This is what happened, blah, 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 blah. Write it down and close the book and be like, oh, that's done. But then we don't just make it that to finish. It's like, what are tomorrow's intentions? So you can like actually write down, this is what I want to achieve tomorrow now.
So you're pretty much, you know what's in here, obviously.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it. Yeah.
So we got similar things. Like it's, you want to get rid of what you're holding on to.
Yeah, I love it.
Write what your intentions are, how you'd feel accomplished what you achieved. And
yeah, so this is what we do as well. Like, what 3 things you're grateful for every day, we do all the time. You know, like what would you feel accomplished if I achieve? We sort of do that at the start of the week. It's like, what's your weekly achievements and intentions? But yeah, very similar to what you got here, which is awesome. Yours is a lot more aesthetically pleasing than mine.
We like design.
Yeah, well, I can tell that. It looks good. But no,
yeah,
it's
awesome.
it's
cool
so
that we've
important.
both done it at the same time.
Yeah, that's it. Well, don't worry, I'm not selling. I'm like, mine's not for sale, so it's just the boys in the gentleman's club.
But there's enough abundance out there for all of us.
100%. There's enough abundance out there for everyone. Like, and I think that's another thing. Like, one thing I noticed, or one thing I learned on this journey was like, stop doing what is right by society and start doing what's right by you. And like, for me, it was work. For me, like I was making great money in real estate, incredible money in real estate, and I was good at it. Like, there were points where I did enjoy my job because at some points it was just easy. But it got to the point where I was going through this massive transformation and I just kept feeling this density. I'm like, what's holding me back? Like, what is it that's not fulfilling me right now? I didn't want to admit it was my job because I was making such good money. And I was like, I've got all these freedoms because of this job.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it was my job that was restricting me from actually being genuinely happy and grateful for the life that I had. So once I actually had the courage to call it in, it's almost like the door blew off the hinges to life. And all these opportunities started pouring in. And like everything started changing. I don't make a wage right now. Like I don't expect to make a wage for a little bit still because I'm creating this business with the Gentleman's Club and we're still in the process. Well, we've started the first intake. We're only still building the brand.
Yeah.
But
so it is I didn't realize it was a business. You actually, I thought it was more of like a charity thing you're doing. So
so what we're doing, we're creating the space. So the boys pay for the 6-month course, and that payment goes towards covering everything that's catered for in them. Like Mitch and I and Jordan, we don't take a single cent from it.
Yeah.
So for us, like creating the journal is hopefully where we can start to create a wage and build a brand image and sell product and merch. So whoever does the immersive, well, we're not really taking too much from it. Like I said, we don't take anything from this first one. We're all doing this just for the passion of it.
Yeah.
And it's not about money for Mitch and I. Like we just want to create a space for these men. And to see the transformation that we've seen in a lot of them within, 2 months is profound. And like I have to pinch myself and realise that we've created this space for them because it's something that I wish I had when I was going through my time.
Yep.
And I think it's so important for us men to start holding each other in that safe space where it's like, okay, they might be going through shit, but instead of going, oh, suck it up, mate, come to the pub, it's going to be right, sitting with them and actually listening to what's going on, and actually being there as a brother, even if you're not related by blood, just sitting there and being like, what is wrong? You can tell me and just know that you're safe here.
Yep.
Because then once they can get that off their chest, it then gives them the opportunity, and this goes for females or anyone for that matter, just having someone there to listen to you, not give you solutions, just give you support, then gives you the opportunity to then step forward into your journey, into what's going to be next for you on the cards.
People like doing things that people like them do. So give us an example of the people who are in there. Like what's some of the demographic
of the Gentleman's Club?
Of the gentlemen that are in there currently.
Yeah. So
age, job.
So age would be, I think the youngest we've got in there is 23. And I think the eldest we've got in there would be late 30s, nearly 40, I think.
Cool.
Occupations vary. Like there's some that are self-employed. 2 of the boys quit their jobs first week because they they quit their jobs first week. So like, you know what? You're right. This is actually going back to manifestation here. So 2 of the boys quit their job during the first couple of weeks, saying that just they hated it. It wasn't the job they wanted. We all said, like, write down what you want. Write down what you want. Get clear about what you wanted. They both got the jobs that they wanted.
Yeah, right. Awesome.
Like 2 weeks ago, I think they both started this week. They started their new jobs, exactly the jobs that they wanted.
That's awesome.
There's numerous dads. Like there's about 3 or 4 dads within the group, which is awesome. Just seeing them like talk to each other and give each other support in that space. Because like we all, like no one knows what they're doing when they have a kid. You can read all the kid book, like all the how to parent books in the world, but until you've got that baby, I can guarantee, and I'm going to experience it at some point, hopefully myself. All that just goes out the window and you're just entranced by this kid. Because Jordan's going through it right now with his boy. But yeah, the demographics just so vast. And we even had a guy that was in his late 60s wanting to join up. And we said to him, like, mate, we're happy for you to be a part of it. We just don't know what you will get out of it. He goes, I just want to be there to hold space for the other men. Didn't have it happen this time round, but in saying that, we've kept in touch, which is good.
Yeah, cool.
But we've already got 6 guys keen for the next intake, which goes live in a couple of weeks, hopefully.
Yeah, awesome.
But no, it's awesome, man. And like, it's such an incredible space. And I can't share too much because we take I guess you could say like a vow of privacy, because we don't want to share each other's stories
That's fair enough.
Publicly. I'm happy to share mine. I'm happy to speak about some of the transformations that have happened. But I got to respect their privacy. I got to respect the fact that they're on this journey for themselves, and that if they're happy to share it, well, they can share it in their own pace. But
cool.
It definitely warmed my heart to see these guys really wanting to make a change for the positive in their life. And then we've created the space where they're surrounded by other men that want to see them achieve that. And I think, it's not like we can't be the only guys thinking this. There's got to be more guys feeling this. And so I encourage all men to just encourage your mates. Absolutely, like to the fullest, encourage your mates. Tell them that they can achieve their dreams. Hold them accountable. One thing with men is we love being held accountable. If we're held accountable, have you done this today? You'd be like, shit, I haven't done that. You want to go and do it, especially if you know that all the other boys are doing the same thing too.
Yeah, definitely.
We do daily breath work, daily like cold water therapy, daily movement, making sure the boys are getting enough sleep. Like we're telling them, like, you got to make sure you take as much care of yourself as you can. Even if it's just like a daily, nasal reset or bar streaker or some form of breath work to just reset the nervous system. Give yourself some time for you. And what you find is all of them like, why haven't I been doing this sooner? It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it blows my mind, man. It absolutely blows my mind.
The manifestation one's funny, hey, because sometimes I can write something down and then forget about it.
And then it happens.
And it just happens and you're like, oh, yeah. Oh, true, I wrote that down 3 months ago, or I was talking about that 3 months ago, or even like years ago.
Yeah, I remember saying to Alicia when we started dating, I was like, I manifested you. And she was so open to saying, she's like, I did the same thing. She's like, I told my friend like a week before I met you that there's a man coming into my life and he's a surfer, and the next thing you know, I popped up. And like, I remember saying to her, I was like, I know you from somewhere. And this is before it even clicked. Like, this is when we just met. I was like, I know you from somewhere. She's like, no, we haven't met. I was like, no, I feel like I do. Little did I know, it's just like we'd obviously met each other in a dreamscape or something like that, and this connected past life maybe as well. But no, manifestation's huge. And there's so many people that, I think this is the thing about manifestation as well, though, at the moment. There's a lot of people that just try sell it to people. Like, oh, you do this and you can manifest whatever you want. It's like, just find it in your own pace. And it can take different shapes for different people. Everyone manifests differently. Some people create and manifest through writing, drawing. Some just do it through dreaming. Like, it can take so many different forms. But yeah, sometimes for me, I just love to write, just to put pen to paper.
Yeah.
I'm not a good writer. I haven't got the best handwriting, but it works. I'm
going to hold you accountable with this podcast. So tell us where the Gentlemen's Club is in 3 to 5 years. Manifest it right now.
I've already written this down.
Yeah.
I should have bought my book. So let me try to remember. I want to try to remember exactly where this was. So at the end of 2024, the Gentlemen's Club will be running 4 intakes a year, 2 level 1s, 2 level 2s. We'll be running a facilitator's course. And Mitch, myself, and Alicia, and if he's got a partner at the time, we're going to be travelling around the country doing workshops for men, helping them connect with themselves, talking about the importance of learning how to be vulnerable, the importance of learning how to deal and cope with your emotions. So that's that's the end of 2024. By the end of 2026, we will hopefully have a number of gentlemen's clubs running around the nation. So it's not just a Sunny Coast thing. So I've had heaps of mates from Sydney and Adelaide and Cairns hitting me up about it. And I just feel like I want to give them the service, but I can't be in 4 places at once.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where it's going to be by then. There will be more. There will be more opportunity for men to be a part of this community. And even if it's not named the Gentlemen's Club, even if someone goes and does their own style that just creates that space for men, I can see that happening very, very soon.
Awesome.
Yeah, man, I'm pumped. Absolutely pumped.
Thanks for coming down today.
Absolutely.
It's been great.
I appreciate it.
Hopefully we got the recording button down this
time.
time.
Well, Soph said the red light had to be on. It's been on the whole time, so I'm assuming we got this on this time.
I'm keen to get you back again anyway. There was a lot of things. So I feel like we went through so many different avenues, and I wanted to go deep in a few of them, but maybe another time.
Mate, whenever you want. Like I said, I'm just studying, running the gentleman's club at the moment, and I love sitting down having good conversations with people too. I
think there's a bunch of ways in what Josh has shared, that bunch of ways that you can find stillness, just so many different aspects of your life.
I think, like talking about finding stillness is like, it's uncomfortable at first, I think, or I believe, because you've got to actually look at all the shadow aspects of things that you've done, things that you've said, stories that you've fabricated in your mind about how you are and who you are. And you've got to realize that you're not your past, and that's not you. Like, and you're only human. Like, we all make mistakes. We all go through the shit, but it's also your responsibility to take it's your responsibility to take control and then make change. And so if you can start with sitting in stillness, and just, if you can learn to just sit there and be with yourself, that's like some of the most powerful healing you can do, because then that gives you so much more opportunity.
A lot of people are so defined by their past.
I was for years. Absolutely. And I think another thing, like, is expectation as well. All of us hold, like, I shared a post that Aubrey Marcus did the other day. It talks about expectation, and like, why put yourself through suffering and pain? Because you put a high expectation on something, and if you don't reach it, then you feel like you let yourself down, you let others down, you put yourself through that self-sabotage phase, and you remove the chances of you experiencing joy, and all these like excitement and these spontaneity feelings, because you've put expectation on it rather than just going through the flow of life. So I think that's really important too.
That is very profound. Thanks for coming on.
Absolute pleasure, bro. Thanks for having me.